Hello again. I want to do another video since my last video about what I carried on Scotland's West Highland Way. I'd said then I had chosen to make that point my transition to being ultralight backpacker, and that transition's gone really well. But I wanted to do a video, kind of like an update on what I'm packing now and including in that what I would pack for the West Highland Way if I were starting today. It's late January. Last year, my wife and I did it. We started on Easter Sunday in April. So what I'm going to show you today, what I would pack is if a couple changes from the way we did the trail. We did not camp at all, so I'm going to show you what I would be using for camping today. And Also, we did not cook on the trail, and I'll go over that as well. I kind of did that in a video before, but this is what I'd be doing if I was going to do the West Highland Way now with camping each night and not eating out at all. Kind of not eating out at all. Although I recommend doing those, especially if you're not from Scotland, because we as Americans absolutely loved staying the places we did and eating the food we did. Haggis is one of my new favorite foods. So instead of like unpacking a bag, I'm going to show you how I pack my bag as well. So hopefully this is informational a couple ways. I went a little more ultralight. I picked up a backpack called the Palante. That's Palante, the Palante Joey, which is really kind of like a fast style pack or a running backpack. It has a running style vest on it. The external pockets are a pretty tight, stretchy material. But I've had it out only once so far and really, really liked it for what I'm doing. It weighs less than a pound. So the first thing I do is I cuff over the top of the pack because I'm going to put a pack liner in it. If you use a pack cover, the downside to a pack cover is it does not cover your entire pack, so it's not going to keep it waterproof. Specifically when water runs down your back, in between your back and your pack, the water is going to get in through there. So a pack liner guarantees everything inside the liner is going to stay dry. You can just use a simple garbage bag or a trash compactor bag that's a little tougher. This is one of the bags I grabbed from Gossamer Gear when we were getting ready for the West Highland Way. Alright, so that's going to be cuffed over the bag as well to make it easier. First thing I'm going to do is put in my quilt. This is a Magma quilt from REI. Yeah, the reason I got it from them, I wanted to get a quilt. The only reason I got it from them is they had a massive half-off sale, and I had some gift cards and ended up getting it for free. It's a 30-degree quilt. For what we experience in Scotland, 30 degrees would have been just fine. It is all down. Now, granted, we had amazing, fantastic weather, above average for April, but I think even with the April averages, this would have been fine. So 30-degree quilt, that's going to go in first. All I'm going to do is stuff it into the bottom of the liner, working all of the air out. Basically, everything that's going to go in this liner is everything that I want to stay dry. Has to stay dry. Something's down, it has to stay dry. That's going in there first. So what I'm going to do now is just take a quick peek. The other item that has to stay dry is my down jacket. But what I want to do is see if there's anything else I need to put in there that needs to stay dry. One of the great things about being an ultralight backpacker, everything you're going to take, you can keep in for me, a large shoebox. So I don't know what I have in here that needs to stay dry that I wouldn't keep on the outside of the backpack. Yeah, so that might be about it, because I got some other items that can stay on the outside. Okay, so the other, well, no, I've got some clothes. So the thing I'm not going to pack in here is I would have an extra pair of socks and an extra pair of underwear for clothes. That's all. So what else I'm going to put in here is, these are actually the thermal tights, running tights I took with me. I didn't use them at all on the West Highland Way, but I would take them again, just in case it got really cold during the day, or if it was really cold at night. and I needed some extra insulation. So I packed that in there. I did have a merino wool hat, which I wore a lot in the morning, so I'm probably going to leave that out. This is a down jacket, so I'm going to put that in there. And since my shelter is waterproof, I'm not going to put that in there. So I'm going to stuff that in there. Then I'm going to take the liner and uncuff it, and I'm going to work all of the air out of it and stuff it down in there. I'm working the air out because down is very, very compressible and very, very warm, much more so than synthetic down. So I'm going to get all the air out of there to save space and create more space in my pack for everything else. All right. And then I'm going to take that bag and I'm going to twist it to seal it. And then I'm going to tuck the loose end on the side of the pack where my back would be. All right, so right now, just to give you an idea of where that is, this is about a 27-liter pack, I believe, with the internal. So right now it's about half full. So on top of that, oh, you know what I didn't do? I did not put in where I would put my, yeah, so let me fix this real quick. You can see how it unpacks nice and easy. Yeah, so for my sleep system, actually I'm going to put that in first and then the bag. I use a Tyvek ground sheet. And on top of that, I just have a very thin 1/8-inch foam pad from Gossamer Gear. And that's actually cut down to a little over torso length. I've used it a couple times. I sleep fine on it. And both of these are waterproof, so I don't have to worry about them. So what I'm going to do is put that in the bag while it's cuffed over. I'm going to put the foam pad against my back and kind of curl it around here. And then that's going to give the pack a little bit of shape because it is a frameless pack, of course. So I'm going to tuck that in there the right way. All the way to the bottom, and I'm going to push it out, and then I'm going to put my ground sheet in there. I think this is actually 2, because what I do in the summers around here is I take my dogs with me, and they get a little bed in the shelter. I'm just going to leave them together. So that's going to form like a U in there. Again, with the like the bottom of the U facing my back to give it a little shape. All right, now I'm going to put the liner in. Sorry, I forgot about that. The only bummer about the 1/8-inch pad is that it's not going to create the R value or insulation value of it. How much it's going to protect me against the cold coming up from the ground is not too great. So if I thought it was going to be colder on the trail, I might opt for an inflatable pad. Just going to add weight and a little space. The other thing I might do is take a thicker closed cell foam pad. I have one here to show you. Thermarest Z-Lite cut down, and I may just strap that to the top of my pack. That's if it was going to be colder. The thing about not taking a foam pad is, and with ultralight, you have to be careful where you pick your camp spots. Fortunately, Scotland has a lot of soft ground to camp on, and in April, there's no midges, so you don't have to worry about bugs, and you'll see why. You can see my shelter a little bit. So you can get away with those thin foam pads as long as it's warmer. And I've slept great on them. And one thing that adds to your sleep is if you're putting in some decent miles each day. We did the trail in 6 days. We could have done 5. But the thing about backpacking is you're nice and tired at the end of the day. So you don't need that big, thick mattress to sleep on. You're going to sleep fine. Maybe the first night's a little rough because you're getting used to it. Alright, so I'm just twisting that off again. And then I'm going to pack this so whatever I may need stays on the top or the outside. So what I'm not going to need, I'm going to put in there, let's see here. What I would probably put in there first is rain pants, which if it rained, probably just put on the top, let myself get wet up. Quick drying shoes, quick drying shorts. I don't worry about that too much. And the rain pants can also serve as insulation at night or during the day if I needed it. Also on the inside, make sure I'm getting everything here. I would probably put, I think how I packed this before. Probably put my water filter in there. We ended up not using the water filter at all on the trail because water was so plentiful, but I would want to have that with me. I would put, let's see here. I would put I'm trying to think what we didn't use at all on the trail. Oh, I know. I do take a pillow. So I probably put that in actually under the rain pants because I'm not going to need that until night. Oh, I'm sorry. And the other thing I would put in before I put in the stuff I need for the day is my shelter. So my shelter, I've messed with tarps before. This is a new tarp for me. So this is about 12 ounces. And you see how small it packs down. Nice and lightweight. You can set it up a variety of ways. I did start using trekking poles this past summer and ended up really liking them. So you use trekking poles, you can use a tree to do that. And if you get pretty decent with it, you can set up shelters or tarps for wind, for rain. A lot of people are probably wondering, well, it rains so much in Scotland, which we didn't get any rain at all, it was fantastic. But, so why don't you use a tent? People I've seen using tents on the West Highland Way trail, they have water running through their tents, and these are supposedly experienced backpackers. So if you know how to set up a shelter, you can avoid the rain, avoid things getting too wet, you'd be fine. You might have to dry out here and there. All right, so that's shelter, rain pants, water filter, and then I think I would stick, let's see here, things that carry food. Now here's the trick for me is I tried cooking. I don't like taking a stove. I don't like cleaning up. So I have a food bag that I normally use in America to keep food away from the bears. You hang it in a tree. But here I'd usually just carry food. So I would carry food I don't need to cook. So I think on West Highland Way we packed out bagel sandwiches one morning from a place we had breakfast. I packed out dry cereal, food you buy in a store. So you still have to cook. And that way you don't have to spend time cooking. I don't need hot food. That's a personal preference for me. So no cooking. So that lightens the pack as well. And then on top of that, I put a bag with my electronics and first aid kit if I need it. So that is everything that I would carry on the inside of the pack. And let's see here. Yeah. So after that, the Joey, you have a cinch top. So I still have room to put a few things in there if I needed to. Okay, you see that. In fact, I'm going to do that now. I'm going to stick my rain coat on top of it to save room on the outside. And I'm going to stick my hat in there. And just so to save a little space on the outside, my poop kit, which is a little bit of toilet paper, hand sanitizer, and a trowel to dig a hole if I needed to. Again, so many bathrooms in the West Highland Way, I really have to deal with it. So I still have room on the top of this. So the Joey, you cinch that shut, roll up the top a little bit. Oh, and before I really cinch it down, So you've got this outside pocket here and the two side pockets. Let me get this up here so you can see it. Side pockets here, front pocket here, side pockets, and I've got some pockets on the shoulder straps I'll show you in a bit. But on this outside pocket, I probably leave that empty because my hands get so cold. I use these gloves every morning with a liner. I look kind of weird, but my hands were freezing. These are actually Gore-Tex, they're waterproof. And then I would, when it got a little warmer, I would take the outside gloves off and leave the liners on my hands for a while and eventually stick those in the bag. But I would probably leave the outside pocket open so I could take it off real quick and shove the gloves in there. I'd probably put some Ziploc bags in there for packing out food. Ziploc bags are a backpacker's best friend. Then with that, still got a little space in the back there for stuff. I would roll the top, put on this hook here, and cinch that down. And I'll show you the weight when we're done. It should be, I don't know, maybe around 7 or 8 pounds total. There you go. So that's it so far. Then on one side I've got 10 stakes. With this shelter set up, there's guidelines in here too. I believe I have 3 guidelines and 6 stakes. The reason is that's what I would need for the couple configurations that I know of so far for setting it up for rain or high winds. So I'm going to stick that in the side pocket, one side pocket. So keep in mind, I'm only sticking that in one side pocket. So there's lots of room in that side pocket still. And I've got one side pocket completely empty. Water bottles, I tend to camel up, so I drink a lot whenever I'm at a water source. So I don't have to drink along the way, so my water bottles are smaller. I also just tend not to drink a lot of water, period. The Joey has these pockets right here, which I've learned to love and really like them. Tape's on there just because that's where a sticky label was, and it takes away the stickiness. I'll move that out of the way so it's not so distracting. And then there's also little pockets. I thought there were little pockets up here. Oh yeah, right here on the bottom. So what I'd probably start out in the morning is wearing the buff as kind of a hat and a head warmer. I'd use the real hat if I got really cold. And then I could stick the buff in these little pockets, one of these little pockets. And I would have a wallet with stuff in it, which I'm not going to put in there. And to be fair, I also carried a fanny pack. I actually picked up this new Adams pack made in England. Fanny pack on the West Highland Way would carry some snacks, my phone, which I used as a GPS guide, money and wallet, I think, that kind of thing. The Joey also has a bottom pocket, which I never thought I would really like, but I tend to really love. You can put snacks in. There's a little hole here if you want to push trash wrappers in there. I actually really like the bottom pocket. So I still have lots of room for stuff. What did I say? I didn't include the extra socks, 1 pair of socks, and I would have 1 pair of underwear to go with all this. And that'd be it for clothing that would go in here. Wallet would go in the fanny pack. So I don't have any, and I don't have a cook kit because I'm just eating everything cold. So that's everything. So let's, what I'm going to do is weigh this. Oh, and because it's a frameless pack, one of the things you do to get it to fit better on your back is before you put it on, just put it on the ground and just kind of push on the top gently. You're just trying to flatten out the back a little bit. So when you put it on your back, it fits a little easier. It's not like rounded against your back. I did that with the Gossamer Gear Kuno, which I really like, but it's 37, 38 total liters, and it's actually too big for a lot of the trips I do now, so that's why I picked up the Joe. Joey also has some side bungee straps here, or bungee cord, and so if you put something taller in your side pockets, like a trekking pole that you don't need, you can put it on there. You just take them off if you don't need them. I don't pack this small, you really don't use them for compression, because the bag's so small. Keep in mind, I still have a side pocket open here, and only tent stakes in the other side pocket. Bottom pocket's open, so I still have a lot of space left here. So let me get the scale, and then I'll get the camera around here. Just a moment. All right. Get that set up. I'm probably going to label this for ultralight backpacking too, just so people have an idea of the setup. All right. So here's the scale. Let's put it on here. And I'm going to do it in, sorry, but I'm going to do it in pounds. There we go. Let me get it up here. I can't do it with all this, so hold on. This is why it's called Jason Hikes Unedited. Just a moment here. There we go. Oh, I'm really killing it. 8.7 pounds. Let me see if I get in the kilos, since I'm going to label this for the West Highland Way. Well, 140 ounces. There's kilos. Just under 4 kilos. And trust me, it feels fantastic carrying so little. It did not cost a fortune to get all this stuff. And it makes backpacking so much more enjoyable. So there you go. What I'm packing now, what I would pack now for the West Highland Way. Thanks for watching.